The KRF Center for Bangladesh and Global Affairs (CBGA) is a non-profit, non-government and knowledge-driven initiative with its key focus on research, publications, seminars, training, survey, advocacy and related activities on Bangladesh and global affairs. The center engages in a study, generates evidence and promotes research on multidisciplinary and multidimensional issues influencing Bangladesh in its policy and knowledge domains, particularly in the areas of security, diplomacy, foreign policy and international relations. The center has launched its podcast program CBGA Voices for wider access to people who have interest in the issues of foreign policy and international relations. Today we are presenting our 7th episode on Historic Ocean Agreement 2023, a milestone achievement in multilateralism.
After 10 years of negotiations, global community has signed a historic deal to safeguard the oceans, which is a major breakthrough in multilateralism. The legally binding pact to conserve and ensure the sustainable use of the ocean was under discussion for 15 years. After 38 hours of marathon overnight negotiations, the deal was finalized at the UN's New York headquarters and later signed by 100 countries. The ship has reached the shore. Conference Chair Rina Lee announced at the UN headquarters in New York.
The treaty covers a gamut of issues including marine pollution, overfishing, and the conservation and sustainable use of marine biodiversity, and set out guidelines for the robust use of marine resources. To protect and restore marine life, the High Seas Treaty seeks to turn 30% of the seas into protected zones by 2030.
This agreement offers steps for maritime technology transfer and capacity building to ensure that nations, particularly developing littoral and small island states, have the resources and expertise in order to ensure maximum use of the agreement. These clauses would help nations fulfill their treaty responsibilities by providing ways to identify requirements and capacity gaps, establish regional knowledge, share the most recent data and technologies, and get access to sufficient and reliable sources of finance.
The agreement takes place amidst the geopolitical rifts. While there is growing geostrategic rivalry, polarization and militarization, this agreement reflects that there is still room for multilateralism and for global efforts to counter the destructive trends in ocean health, now and for the generations to come.
In recent years, Bangladesh has taken major initiatives to strengthen the domain of the blue economy. The peaceful demarcation of Bangladesh's maritime border with its neighbors, Myanmar and India, in 2012 and 2014 respectively, allowed Bangladeshi fishing community access to the area beyond national jurisdiction (ABNZ) of the high seas, and the phrase blue economy sprang to prominence. Therefore, the agreement will facilitate policymakers to formulate a framework for the extraction of marine resources.
But the question remains, will the agreement be effective in promoting a level playing field if the resources, technology and funds necessary for success are predominantly in the hands of developed states? In other words, can this agreement truly be a level playing field if some parties have significant advantages over others? While the agreement may aim to address these disparities and promote equal access to resources, it remains ambiguous whether such efforts will be successful in practice. The success of the agreement will depend on the willingness of all parties involved to work together and commit to creating a fair and equitable system for all based on the spirit of multilateralism.